What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What's up with unheard of stories of UFO legend and lore? Welcome back. I am excited to be back because I just had an overwhelming amount of people listening to yesterday's podcast, and I wanted to get right back to you. It sounds like you guys are hungry for more stories, so I want to give them to you. So, today, before we even get started with the day, it's an early morning podcast. We have a story that came out last year about a soul-snatching alien blamed for a player's lateness in Chile. So, this was a football player in Chile last year. His name is Guillermo Marino, apparently a pretty popular player, and he showed up late to a training session. Now, normally, you might have an excuse like, oh, I had a flat tire, I had to drop off my kid to school or to the nanny, or, whatever. But in Guillermo's case, I was abducted by aliens. Sorry, guys, I'm late to football practice. So, check this out. In an article by ESPN, nonetheless. I mean, this isn't aliens.com or, some other ufology website. This is ESPN.com. They state that the footballer was late to a training session and explained that it was because he had been abducted by aliens. So he told this to his former teammate Gustavo Lorenzetti. So they were together at the club at the Universidad de Chile, and Guillermo was discussing this with Lorenzetti. So it states that, from his friend, he states, Guillermo is a friend who football gave me, and regarding this story, he wanted to tell me the truth. Gilly, he called him, wanted to tell me the truth. The truth about this particular scenario. He wanted to keep a secret. He really didn't want to tell a bunch of people. He kind of only told a few people. And how it got out is kind of a mystery at this point. But he told a few of his friends that he arrived late to training because he was abducted by aliens. And then he gave us the entire explanation of what it was like and the rest of the story. So he stated, there are cases where the player states, I left and I came back 2 days later because I was kidnapped by aliens, but that was not this particular case. Guillermo was not that kind of player. He was not a storyteller. He didn't lie. He didn't make up, falsities. He was a very proper guy, and everyone knows Guillermo Marino. He stated that he was suddenly lost during his travel and was abducted, and he stated that the aliens take out your soul, analyze it, and during this journey they are looking out for you. He said something like that, according to this partner on his team. So he's stating that they take out your soul, they analyzed it, and look out for you. Now let's examine that just for a minute. So I've only heard the whole soul snatching, or really not soul snatching, but more soul analyzing stories a few times. I heard one where they had this device where they basically zoomed over your body, kind of did a body scan, and were analyzing your quote-unquote soul, is what the abductee felt like. And in this case, he's stating that they took out his soul. That's a totally different kind of technology. That's not just analyzing the soul while it's in your body. That's taking it out of your body and analyzing it. And whenever we hear these stories, it's like so far out there, so far fetched. Even for us ufologists who believe, it's like the technology is just so hard to comprehend. How would one go about taking out the soul? It must be, a vibrational technology that can vibrate the soul out of the body, because what it was explained to, or how it was explained to us by one of the 20 and Back Project Serpo participants, stated that they took out his soul as well, that the soul was a liquid portion of the matrix, or a liquid portion of the quantum field that could be taken out of one vessel and put into another. So that's really fascinating, because if that's true, then what Guillermo is telling us could potentially be true as well, right? Where they could take out this liquid quantum field out of our body and place it into another vessel. So in Project Serpo, what they did was they took the liquid portion of the soul and took it out and put it into another cloned body so that the person could continue living after they served their 20 years and came back. And if you don't know about Project Serpo, there's plenty of information online. You can take a look at that. But in this case, it's not every day that we get abductees that talk about their soul being taken out. So he doesn't discuss what kind of alien it was, what their characteristics or their physical being was, but I wish he did, because then that would give us an idea as to what kind of aliens have this kind of technology, because I got to imagine every different species probably has a little bit of different technology and capabilities. But what would be the reasoning or the necessity to take out the soul? Couldn't they just analyze it within the body, right? That seems like it would be a lot easier and a lot less traumatic and stressful. I wouldn't even know what that would feel like to have your soul taken out of your body. I know some of you may have had out-of-body experiences. Some of you believe in, near-death experiences where people have come out of their bodies, whether it was during a tragic accident or, a heart attack, and you guys have had these experiences where your soul has come out of your body, and you've been able to view your body from outside of the body, looking down on it. And maybe you went to a different astral plane. Maybe you came back and got some information and were returned back into the body. So you guys are first-hand experiencers. We have another first-hand experiencer who had his soul taken out of his body by a physical being. It's interesting. There's just so many fascinating pieces of this story that lead to more and more questions. I've been studying out-of-body experiences for a long, long time. I've read numerous books on near-death experiences and read numerous books on remote viewers who can bilocate, meaning they can come out of their body, they can go anywhere in their astral body and come back. And then they can also remote view, which is without leaving their body and just simply remote view using the mind. So there's two different methods that they can use to achieve those goals for what they did in the government. So, when you study all of these different aspects of paranormal, parapsychology, metaphysical, and then, of course, blending ufology into it, clearly some alien species have mastered the art of out-of-body experience, taking the soul out of the body, and then engaging in other astral realms. One of the interesting things, just kind of piggybacking off of the story, was Joseph McMonagle's story about how he utilized the remote viewing project and was in the government and was tasked to go and check out one of the Galactic Federation's ships, their main bases off planet that was hovering around Earth. And when he went there using remote viewing, these aliens, they were like reptilians in this case. They were the reptilian species. They they stated that, or he stated that they were able to see him. They were able to acknowledge his presence there just by, astral body projecting into this base, this floating base out in the atmosphere or outside of the atmosphere in our orbit. But they were able to witness him. They were able to acknowledge him, and they knew that he was watching them. So they just basically stopped. They didn't want him information based on what he was seeing, so they literally just stopped and didn't move. So, they are aware of the spiritual. They're aware of the astral. They're aware of these higher realms of being, these subspace levels of being that has been reported. They use the word subspace. Instead of space being physical, subspace being part of the astral realm, the spirit realm, if you want to call it that. I'm sure there's more technology, a better technological statement than that, but that's what we have for it, right? I'm sure that there's a better statement or a more accurate statement, but that's what we'll use. So, what do you think? What's your scenario? What's your belief? Do you believe that that there is some technology that's capable of taking a soul out of someone's body and examining it and finding out information about it? What information were they trying to glean? What information were they trying to understand? What information are they trying to take for their own agenda and utilize? Because clearly they were trying to find out some information about this individual, about how he lives, about his planet, about a lot of things about this individual. So I think that they were examining his lifestyle, maybe his personality. 'Cause clearly they weren't interested in his body. They were more interested in his soul if they were taking it out. Meaning, emotions, convictions, thought processes, personality, patience, virtues, those kinds of things are what they were interested in. Despite the fact that he was a world-class athlete, they were more interested in his soul. It's kind of fascinating when you think about it. Well, that's all the time I have today, guys. I wanted to shoot that out to you and give you some information and give you a story to think about. But feel free to research it. It's on ESPN if you want to. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the day. Take care of your physical, spiritual, emotional health. I think that's the most important thing. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Till next time, Lockdown Universe out.